Android 17 QPR Beta 2. This has been released some days ago by Google for Pixel devices. Well, this is not it. This is Android 17. I'm running a pre-release 1.9 on my S26 Ultra, but this thing here is my Pixel 10 Pro XL, and at the moment I'm running the Android 17 QPR Beta 1. So update is available. I'm gonna click here, and yeah, here we are, Android 17 QPR1 Beta 2. And this video is being shot by the Oppo Find X9 Ultra. This is now my main daily driver, so stick around on the channel if you wanna get some more information about performance and camera reviews against the Vivo X300 Ultra, against the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, and against, of course, the S-Class S26 Ultra and the likes. Nevertheless, let's focus here on this update. It's only 578 megabytes, and although there's not going to be any groundbreaking new changes, visual changes, there's going to be still some. But in general, you know what Google are doing now with the way they support their future updates. So these things here, the quarterly platform releases, right, they are delivered to Google Pixel phones as this one, and also AOSP as part of the feature drops. Now, again, this is not going to perhaps include any big system changes, is more around bug fixing. So according to Google themselves, they fixed an issue with the terminal app fails to launch. This is the Linux terminal. It uses AVF, and it's pretty cool because you can run a full Linux machine on this with proper virtualization, also with GPU support. And in the QPR1 Beta 1 there has been some updates to this. You can go and check my video. I'm going to install it. We're going to try to identify if there are any new things, and if you enjoy content like this, you know what to do. Right, let's do this. And here we are, Android 17 QPR1 Beta 2. So first things first, what are new things? When you try to edit your quick menu, you're gonna get a redesign icon. So clearly also indicated the cinnamon bun version with the latest update, of course. Now this is the icon. This is how it looks like, and I'm not sure if this is the better icon or not compared to the previous one, but okay, yeah, we're here for new things, so definitely one new thing. The second thing I want to show you, and this is quite interesting because here I'm also going to take my Samsung S26 Ultra with the One UI 9, because again, that's Android 17, very early, that's pre-release. But when you scroll down to the security section, security and privacy, there's going to be something called AI agent activity. So now I'm going to do the same here on my Pixel 10 Pro, and when you do this, right, there's going to be a whole revamped section. This is the privacy dashboard, and now you can see it says app and AI assistant activity. All right, you follow me? So AI agent activity, this is how it's going to look like on the One UI 9 with Android 17, and on the Pixel, it's just going to be AI assistant activity. And I'm showing this because I think it's important to understand how different brands are going to implement Android 17, and also the fact that Google and Samsung, you know, like these two companies, I think Apple as well, right? But okay, forget about Apple right now. Like Google and Samsung are putting a lot of focus on AI. And to show you that they're not joking around, I'm going to go inside the settings one more time, and here under sound and vibration, when you scroll down inside the media player, there's going to be a whole new section, contextual suggestions. Get helpful suggestions from your apps and services based on your usual activities and locations. And when you go inside, there's going to be plenty of information. So you're supposed to get helpful suggestions from your apps and services based on your routine activities and locations. And I think it's a bit weird at some point. For example, your music app might suggest a playlist at the gym that you often listen to during your evening workout. So you see what is happening? They're using location-based information with usage-based information, such as, you know, you're at this point, the gym, you're doing what, listening to this playlist from Spotify. And of course, they're using AI on top of this, and AI will provide you with contextual suggestions. Now, the good thing is you can customize this, turn it off completely, right? Or let's say still use it, but don't give out your location. Because again, some people might be a bit creeped out from the information that Google knows about you and the way they use it to, let's say, serve you, right? But we also know that they're serving us, right? Nevertheless, right, it's your privacy. And contextual suggestions, this works in an encrypted space on your device, which means this information stays only on your phone, at least encrypted on your phone, and unless you give permissions to share your data for some other purposes, the data used for contextual suggestions is never shared with apps or Google and never leaves your device, which means that the whole AI thing happens on the phone, which is hopefully cool. And how it works: when the contextual suggestions are on the device, activity and location data are stored, right, as we said, in an encrypted space. And in this space, AI learns from the data and makes predictions about what might be helpful to you, which means that if you turn this on, wherever you go, the phone is going to know, and to the places you go and the apps that you use, this information is going to be AI-fied, and then you're going to get some helpful suggestions. Hopefully this is going to end up as a good feature, and we still need to test it anyway. Manage your data. This is pretty cool. So the data that is used for all this AI trickery, right, for the contextual suggestions, is going to stay on your device only for 60 days. And then it's auto-deleted, which is cool, because if you use the phone for 2 years, I mean, the phone is going to know all the places you've been. I mean, it pretty much knows this already if you're using, let's say, a Google Android phone. But you can also decide to delete this data, which I think isn't bad. Also, another small tweak is the notification dot that has now a circle. And maybe here, this is where my new Oppo Find X9 Ultra with a whooping 200 megapixel 3x zoom, first in the world in a smartphone, is gonna shine with me showing you this. But I'm gonna go back to 1x and I'm gonna show you all the bug fixes. They fixed the terminal app, which fails to launch. Now, by the way, I didn't have this issue also on the previous release. I can pretty much start it, and of course I need to upgrade it, but I did not experience this issue. This thing is cool. Fix the display issue where the data and weather information overlap with the fingerprint sensor area on the lock screen. I'll just go to the lock screen. Yeah, okay, not my issue as well, but nevertheless, you might have experienced that one. Also, they fixed an issue where the mobile signal bars were incorrectly displayed as empty or grayed out, despite you having connectivity. Custom team app icons incorrectly appear enlarged on home screen when returning from an application. I think I experienced this one. This is pretty cool as well. They fixed an issue that caused visual instability or glitches when moving apps in the recent item screen. I'm also not sure if this is normal, but see what happens when I open some apps on my home screen. I have a feeling that they somehow you see like some abrupt animation, but then again, this is still a better software, right? Also, what I would like to see is the performance, because last time with the QPR1, the results that I got on the benchmark were actually a bit better compared to what I used to score. So on this device, you can see 2267 on the single core and 5687 on the multi-core scores. So what I want to do right now is just rerun the benchmark and see how much we're gonna get with the QPR Beta 2. 2042 on the single core score and 5214, just a little bit lower compared to last time. So the biggest observation that I have right now is, yeah, you see like this kind of glitches that appear, but then again, it's a beta, guys, right? So this is what you need to factor in if you want to jump on the ship and use the beta. And yeah, the one really new thing here that I can show you is the new edit icon. Stay safe, thanks for watching the video, and bye.